Assalamu alaikum. I would like to greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. First, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah who appeared to us in the person of Master Fraud Muhammad, to whom praises are forever due, and that he rose one up from among us, the lost found nation in the wilderness of North America, the exalted Christ, the Mahdi, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that they, with their two minds, they molded and taught and they guided the Messiah. Yes, the Messiah in our midst, the most honorable minister, Louis Farrakhan. It is in these three great names that I greet you with the greeting words of peace, as we say it in our Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. I pray that you are excited about returning to another episode of Maryam Alima. What do you know about Islam? And we are continuing on with this week I know I said I was going to try to do twice a week, but last week was Saviours Day, and it was absolutely amazing. If you have not had a chance to go onto noi.org and you can no longer participate, but you can watch each and every panel that was done during this time for Saviours Day from the 26th to the 28th. It's online for your viewing pleasure. I implore you to do it expediently. The panels are magnificent. They're astronomical. They are so wisdom filled or knowledge filled in order for you to generate some wisdom. God, it was just so good. And one of those panels was How to Eat to Live with our beautiful sister of my own namesake, Maryam Farrakhan, and brother Tariq Cardiac Muhammad, and brother Akili Muhammad. And they did How to Eat to Live. And I watched it today, all praises due to Allah, with already had intentions of doing this episode today, but I didn't know that I was going to watch that today, and I did. Allah is so mighty. And it was so good. And with that being said, there were a few things that I wanted to speak on that they spoke on, and one of those things was about fasting. So this is particular to fasting during your cycle. So this is particular to women. And there is nothing in How to Eat to Live about fasting during your cycle. And ironically, last week or maybe the week before, I am a part of a women's circle, and that question was posed about, should we fast or should we even eat one meal a day while we are on our cycle? And my only advice could be always, one, take it to Allah and let Allah guide you with what he gives to you. But for myself, I always strive to be in accord with my one meal a day. Now, if my cycle fell during a fasting period, when we have a unity fast within the nation, which is every first Thursday through Sunday of the month, which is coming up, you are not prescribed to fast. Even during Ramadan, you're not supposed to fast or make salah while your cycle is on. So for me, I would not fast, meaning I would not go over 24 hours of not eating during my cycle. Now, during your cycle, you may be in such pain, because my cycle used to be very, very difficult, and I would have to take pain pills. So if you have to take pain pills, you can't do that on an empty stomach. Not even that you don't want to, you will become sick. You'll become nauseated if you take pain medicine on an empty stomach. So of course, then eat something, as Brother Akili said, even with people that are prescribed medications that they take daily. If you have to eat something to take a medication to alleviate you of pain, or it's something that you are prescribed, then take it. Now, Brother Tariq mentions that don't sleep on the navy bean. That's his quote. Don't sleep on the navy bean. Exactly. So with it, when coming to prescriptions, the navy bean and fasting will alleviate you of all ills and ails that are plaguing you. So continue to do your own research and follow the guidance that's given to us already within this book that is from Allah in the person of Master Muhammad to the Mahdi, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I also want to touch on the organic food lie. So it was so funny when they were talking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to bring this up on my podcast because he didn't say what I was thinking. And then beautiful Maryam Farrakhan, she asked a question that led him to speak on what I wanted to speak on, and that is basically any food that you get from a grocery store that has the name organic on it, it's a lie. Like, they can't legally sell you foods that don't have pesticides on it. Like, I was looking at a video, and it was talking about glyphosate and how that is the chemical agent within Roundup that is sprayed. It's in every food. It's literally in everything because it's sprayed on every crop. And it has been banned. It was banned in one country. I apologize for not knowing the name of that country, but it was banned for a while, and their crops dissipated, and the cost of food rose. So then they just had to re-implement using Roundup, that glyphosate agent within Roundup, in order to kill weeds. So it's not necessarily about bugs, but weeds that can kill your crop. And Asia right now, I apologize, Asia is so vague, but there is a country or city in Asia that has currently banned Roundup, and they will just see how time goes on and how that progresses, whether or not they go back to using that chemical agent glyphosate, or if they take the bullet and just have high priced food, which I'd rather have high priced food and long life than low price food and die at 62. But hey, that's up to you. So any food that you get within a grocery store, be it Sprouts, be it Whole Foods, we have to realize anything that they push on you, meaning white America or white people anywhere, you have to comb through it tooth and nail to get to the root of it, to get to the truth. Do you really believe that they put organic on it because it's truly organic? What does organic even mean? You have to get to what they classify as organic. And guess what? That glysophate ingredient, chemical, it's classified as organic. So any vegetable or fruit that you're receiving that has 94011, if that's your quote unquote organic bananas, or 93283 for your organic what is that, a honey crisp. I work as a part-time cashier, so I know kind of the codes, but that food is not organic. You have to understand that everything they do is a marketing ploy, and that is exactly what organic labeling is. You have to think about it. When they start to put gluten-free on water, you have to ask yourself, but it's water, so why would my water have wheat? Exactly. It's for the fools, the 85% of us out here in these streets, consumers, that think that, that are going by the hype of what the media tells you is good for you. Oh my God, this corn is gluten free. I can't, I'm gluten intolerant, so I have to have this kind of corn. Well, guess what? Corn doesn't have wheat, so it was already gluten free. Therefore, organic, it's not truly organic. Even when shopping at farmers markets, you have to be scrupulous, because, or they will literally take, there is a company that sells vegetables and fruits that are basically like overstock, that don't go to stores, and they buy them for basically wholesale and take them to farmers markets. If you go to your farmers market and you see any type of vegetable that has a sticker on it, so they went to their crop and they plucked it out of the ground and it had stickers? No. Also, they can take those stickers off. You have to do your due diligence, and this is what Brother Akili said, and I agree with him. You have to go to your nearest farm, your nearest rural area, and get to know the farmer that is growing in that area. But also, when you get to know them, ask them, are they using any type of agents like glysophate or Roundup that's to control the weeds? Because it is a carcinogen. So, I mean, even even when you go to these small farms, you have to do the due diligence in really inspecting to see what they're using, and you have to follow the feeling that you get when they're answering this, because people can lie all day. So if you don't feel that they're telling you the truth, then you just have to take that extra step and do for yourself. And I haven't done it yet. I am going to, inshallah, in the very near future, st- planting my own small garden even on my patio. Before, y'all know, well, you may not know, I don't think I've ever shared this, but inshallah, in the near future, I will be on some land planting some real crops, some real gardening going on. But until then, as I live in my apartment, I am going to invest into doing small pots on my ledge, because I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and they are just actually very easy to do at home. So right now I'm just being lazy, and we have to not be lazy. People, the question arose about the organic because people were saying like, oh, but it's just so expensive. Don't waste your money on the expensive organic, because it's not healthier. It's no more healthier than the regular conventional fruits and vegetables that they have in the store. So buying anything that has organic on it, you're literally wasting your money. You are literally, here's an extra $5, go burn it, because it means nothing. Think about the company Purdue. They have an organic chicken that they have. They have their regular chicken and they have the organic chicken. Purdue, the company, is known for, quote unquote, having the best graded chicken there is. So how could you then have a $5 markup on chicken that you have now put organic on the label, when you were already advertising your chicken as basically being organic anyway? Meaning it's the same chicken. Don't be fooled. The other thing I wanted to talk about was discipline. Now, I struggle with discipline when I travel. When I'm at home, I'm pretty much 100. Honestly, I am pretty 100. I don't snack. I break my fast at 4 o'clock. I don't be eating candies throughout the day. I'm 100 by Allah's grace. But when I go to a family member's home or a friend's house, I lose my discipline with my eating sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time, and not so much to where it's just like crazy. But the fact that if I put something in my mouth before 4 o'clock, or if I put something in my mouth after 8 p.m., or if I take a little extra, and it's like, Maryam, but why? No, yes, give yourself some grace, but do you need, like, when you're doing that, if your self-accusing spirit arises and says, Maryam, or whatever your name is, do you need it? Yeah, you may, but do you need it? Yeah, you want it, but do you need it? Can you resist that temptation and move closer to Allah in your obedience, and get that one step closer to Him, and have Him give you something extra because you're being obedient, rather than giving yourself that quote unquote little bit of wiggle room, little leeway because you're not at home? That's something that I'm going to practice for Maryam Alima Warif. That I have to get I have a friend, a sister friend. Her name is Paige. So shout out to my sister friend, Paige. She says we keep fumbling the ball. And honestly, I feel like Allah keep tossing me, passes. And I'm like, oh, I keep fumbling. It's like, okay, Maryam, this is the ball. You see it? How about you not fumble it? So those was just the 3 things I wanted to touch on before we get into this week's reading. We are starting on page 22 of How to Eat to Live. And we read. 1 meal a day. Eat 1 meal a day, or 1 meal every other day, and it will prolong your life. Do not think that you will starve. On the contrary, you will be treating yourself to life, a life filled with sickless days. You can hardly get sick eating this way. I know, because I have this experience. If you eat the proper food, which I have given to you from Allah in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, to whom praise be forever, in this book you will hardly ever have a headache. Eating once a day or once every other day You must not eat between meals, and you should try to eat at the same hour tomorrow as you eat today. Do not change your meal hours if you can help it. That causes your stomach to react to various hours to two of the day for a meal and will set up gas in the stomach. Don't even drink juices, milk, or soft drinks between meals. And do not eat candies or fruits between meals. You are welcome to drink water, but I know you will not want too much water between meals since your stomach will not call for it. You may drink coffee between meals, but do not fill your cup with half sugar and cream and pour coffee on top of that. Smile. This that I am trying to teach you is the way that He, Almighty Allah, has taught me for you. I have given to you in this book the type of food that you should eat as Allah has given to me. Again, I say many vegetables are good to eat, also many fruits. But the vegetables you have been warned against eating, such as collard greens, turnip salads, black-eyed peas, field peas, lima beans, butter beans, and soybeans, should not be eaten. Be sure that you do not eat the large-sized navy bean. Eat the small-sized navy bean. Surely, sugar diabetes can be controlled and driven out with your abstinence from eating sugar and starchy foods, and with your corrected way of eating once a day or once every day, or once a day or once every day, if started in time, you will become negative of sugar in your blood. If you are a victim of sugar diabetes, you should not eat white or sweet potatoes. And even if you are not a victim of diabetes, you should not eat too much of any starchy food, such as potatoes, and positively no sweet potatoes. You should be careful of eating this type of food. Beware of starchy foods and sweets. God Almighty has taught me and many others that we should never eat more than one meal a day. That will most certainly heal you of many complaints. Since the American citizens eat more meat, sugar, and starchy foods than they should, there's almost an epidemic of too much sugar accumulating in our blood. Eating one meal a day, which does not include too much sugar, will keep you healthy, both physically and mentally. If you are a Muslim believer in Allah and the religion of peace, Islam, I warn all of you sufferers of diabetes to stop eating starchy foods and sweets until this disease vanishes out of your blood or cannot do you any harm. If you eat once every other day, it is almost a guarantee that you will not be sick. The Orthodox Jews are a people who lived among us in Asia, and they still try to follow Moses' teaching on how to eat to live. The Holy Quran teaches us that we can eat their food and they can eat the Muslims' food, because the two people, Jews and Muslims, try to eat the right food to live. I have learned, and most likely you have too, that it is only a weakness of ours to eat constantly. We are only digging our own graves with our appetites and teeth. There is no teaching from anyone, God, you or me, that will help us if we take our appetites for our guides. Within 1 week, you can get used to eating once a day, and within 1 week, you can get used to eating once every other day. Many of the Muslims are eating like this, and you can eat this way too. Our stomachs are just the way we train them. Get away from those fattening sweet pies 2 or 3 times a day, and do not eat those white potatoes at every meal. They are full of starch. Do not eat fresh bread, and you should never eat white bread, because it is the worst bread you can eat and will shorten your life. In fact, you should not eat too much fattening food. You're not going to get weak. Eat plenty of vegetables and fruit. Eat meat? Eat meat is a question. If so, eat clean, fresh meat, whether it is beef, lamb, or chicken. Do not eat too much of it. Change sometimes and have fish for your meal. Many of our people like to eat young pigeons, squabs, but usually they are a little too expensive. Do not eat too much of anything, good or bad food, and do not eat but once a day. You will soon tell me how much better you feel. Do not smoke or use tobacco in any form or way, and do not eat the pig, even if you have to starve to death. How Allah's way prolongs life. Many of advertising what to eat and what medicines to take to make you eat or stop you from eating. Many books are written and sold on good and bad foods, as well as on reducing the weight and on how to increase the weight, introducing the many chemicals used to bring about the desired result. But Allah, in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, has given us a better and safer way to do these things. His way will prolong our lives and do away with our sicknesses, and that way is eating 1 meal a day. Or, if we are able and do not have too much physical work to do, eating 1 meal every 2 days. This alone will prolong your life. You will not be sick often if you eat once a day and eat the proper food. The proper food is that food that which is not poisonous. The slave masters taught us to eat the rough foods such as field peas, and today, being accustomed to eating them, we still eat them along with sweet potatoes, which are not good for anyone but hogs, and white potatoes, which, since they are so starchy and fattening, are not good for anyone unless they are in a zone where they cannot secure better food. We cannot live a long time if we laden our bodies with fats to burden our hearts and pumping blood through all of this fat. It shortens the time of our heartbeat. And a fat person is, in many instances, more likely to attract sickness and disease. Why are we healthier and our lives prolonged by eating as God has taught us in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever? It is because of the 1 meal a day, or fasting. Eating once a day and fasting gives the body time to rest from the previous meal and to absorb it properly and to distribute it where the body is calling for it. Some of us eat so often and so much at a time that it actually has a tendency to make us small and skinny because we never allow time for the previous meal to digest and distribute the vitamins and proteins into the proper places and throughout our bloodstream. Rest, given to the digestive system of our bodies, is the thing that prolongs our lives. In this period of rest, 24 hours, the poisons that we ate in the previous meal are not capable of doing us any harm when it is minor food poison. For the idleness of our stomach destroys this poison that would upset us or shorten our lives to a great extent. Therefore, we live a longer life if we eat correctly and do not eat 3 meals a day. Only 1 meal a day is sufficient for adults, no matter what their occupation may be. Milk and bread, wheat bread alone, will keep us alive indefinitely, and it is the best and the most easily digested food. We have plenty of supplements for milk and bread, so eat them, but eat them only once a day. This will reduce your doctor bill almost 90%. And if you eat once every 2 days, you will not have any doctor bills. So do not tell the doctor that I told you to do this. Smile. As you know, I contracted bronchial asthma, and I have learned that there are no drugs that the public has access to which actually serve as a cure. But I am doing fine now, and eating once a day and once every other day does not give the mucus time to accumulate and choke the bronchial tubes and tract. All praises are due to Master Prophet Muhammad, as it is written of him in the scriptures, that he comes to prolong our lives and to do away with sickness and death. If we live right, he teaches us we will enjoy life for a long, long time. Alhamdulillah. How to keep food from hurting us. I thank Allah in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, for bringing to us life and light, so that we may be able to enjoy life, and to enjoy that life longer than we have previously enjoyed it. Many years could be added to our lives if we only knew how to protect our lives from their enemies. As he, meaning Master Prophet Muhammad, to me, food keeps us here. It is essential that we eat food which gives and maintains life. That same food destroys life. Therefore, to keep this food from destroying our lives, We must protect our lives as well as we possibly can from the destruction of food. If we eat the proper food and eat at the proper time, the food will help keep us living a long, long time. Eating 3 and 4 times a day is to your stomach as dripping water is to a stone or iron. The dripping water will eventually wear the stone and iron away. But just to look at the water, it does not appear powerful enough in its dripping to wear the stone and iron away. Alhamdulillah, I have to pause for a second. I apologize. I'm on page 29, but I had a thought the other day, and I knew I wanted to speak on it, and by Allah's grace, He put it back into my mind. I was at the store, and I was looking at the food, and I was looking at a can of black-eyed peas, and I was thinking, and the thought popped into my head, well, they don't look poisonous. And I looked at something else, or maybe some kale or something. Well, I mean, it looks just as green as spinach. And, the black-eyed peas look just as small as the navy bean. The perception of food not looking harmful, and then you trying to rationalize, well, maybe it is okay. Okay. Don't do that to yourself. When you are out here seeking knowledge to benefit you, take the blessing that has been bestowed upon you. Follow the guidance that was given to us by Master Muhammad. I don't care if it seems, what does it say? The devil makes all things seem fair seeming. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. I don't know why the thought popped in my head when it did, but I'm thankful to Allah because it had to pop into my head because someone has had the thought before that, it don't look any different. If He says stay away from it, stay away from it. If He says do not eat it, do not eat it. It is just that simple. You don't have to try to make it what it is not. It is what it is. Okay? Here is the book for you to guide your life aright. It will change your life, and it will surely save your life. And I'll continue on reading. I apologize for the interruption, but I had to get it out. Okay, I'll start from here. Eating 3 and 4 times a day is to your stomach as dripping water is to a stone or iron. The dripping water will eventually wear the stone and iron away. But just to look at the water, it does not appear powerful enough in its dripping to wear the stone and iron away. It is the same with food. We continuously put into our stomachs to be digested, and eventually it will destroy the stomach. If we let our stomachs rest a while and gain strength, they will last longer in doing a job of digesting food for us. Eat 1 meal a day and eat the food that will not harm you so quickly. You do not have to obtain a long, detailed knowledge of what foods you have to eat because the wrong food has already been pointed out to you. Foods such as the pig, nuts, white flour, meats. Of course, we eat some meats. The wrong kinds of peas, the wrong kinds of breads, too many starchy foods, and too many sweets. All of these foods destroy us. Bread should be cooked thoroughly and slowly. And if you have plenty of time, cook the bread 2 or 3 times and then eat it. Meat should also be cooked 2 or 3 times. Eating great meals of highly seasoned and sugared pastries is definitely not good for us. They most surely would take years of our lives away. You may eat some sweets, but do not make an entire meal of sweets or eat them every day. Fruit is good for us. We should eat plenty of fruit. To live a long time, eat once every 24 hours or once every 48 hours if you are able to do so. But if you have heavy manual work to do, do not try to eat once every 2 or 3 days. And if you eat once a day, you should fast every month for 2 or 3 days. By doing that, there will be no poison left in the body at the end of the year to make you sick even 1 hour. I would like you who try to live and eat just as this book teaches you to please send me a letter telling me of the results that you have gained from eating as I have instructed you in this book. I repeatedly teach that the way Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad has taught us to eat will do away with many doctor bills and do away with much maiming of the limbs caused by certain diseases. Sugar diabetes can be controlled and cured if you only eat correctly. Stay off sugar and starchy foods and leave those old white potatoes alone. Do not eat spaghetti and macaroni at every meal. If you are overweight, do not eat it at all, at any meal. And if you want to live a long time, do not eat it at any meal. Foods such as spaghetti and macaroni are processed, not cooked thoroughly, and are hard to digest. There are some people who claim that they do not receive beneficial results as they should. This is due to wrong mental food that they are eating, which has an effect on their digestive system. To get good results from eating the proper foods, we must have good thoughts. The proper food and the proper time to eat it. Eating the proper food that has been given to us and taught to us by our God and Savior, Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, changes us in many ways. Not only does it give us good health, but it gives us a better way of thinking, as food and our mental power work in the same way. Whatever affects one affects the other. Eating the proper food also brings about a better surface appearance. Our features are beautified by the health that the body now enjoys from eating of proper food and also eating at the proper time. Bad food takes away even the beauty appearance of a person. God taught me that the swine hog takes away 3/100% of the beauty appearance of a person. This we can easily understand and see after we stop eating it. The medical scientists also will agree with us that the poisonous flesh of the hog will take away 3/100% of your beauty appearance. There are some people who have eaten so much of this ugly, poisonous animal, and he is the ugliest and silliest acting animal you have ever looked upon and been around, and well as the filthiest animal that you have ever dealt with, that they actually look like that animal. It is a divinely prohibited flesh. It is a sin for you to eat it. The enemy of God, the devil, teaches you to eat it, and he eats it himself to show you how little respect he has for God's divine law against eating this prohibited flesh. He drinks all the intoxicating drinks, offers them to us, and then preaches the same gospel in church that thou shalt not eat the pig, thou shalt not drink the intoxicating liquor, thou shalt not rob, steal, murder, commit adultery, gamble, hate, and lie to one another. Yet he is doing that hourly. Everything God says thou shalt not do in the 10th commandments given to Moses, they say thou shalt do. It was only a waste of God's time to have given this race of evil people good guidance, because it is just as Jesus said in a parable. The wicked husband who was given overlord of the earth and his people never did offer the true owner any of the heir, a convert of righteousness. We have nothing to fear or worry about in the way of right guidance today, because we have God himself in the person with us to lead and guide us in the way of truth and righteousness. There is a lot of difference in the beauty of true Muslims and that of Christians. I do not mean to say that there are no beautiful Christians or black people who eat the hog, but there is a difference in their appearance of beauty that can easily be discovered by one who obeys this divinely prohibited law against eating swine flesh. The poisonous hog flesh makes color of many people's eyes muddy and reddish in appearance, and makes the people who eat it brazen, careless, and easy to anger, fight, and oppose each other. Eat the proper food as is given to us in this book, and eat at the proper time, 1 meal a day from 4 to 6 p.m. The right food and the proper time to eat it is becoming a must. To live without sickness and without fear of a short span of life is now a must for the people who expect to see the hereafter. The way that God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, is teaching us, the lost found members of the Aboriginal nation, is the best, regardless of what it is, whether it concerns food, mental stability, or what have you. He teaches us in the best way. I offer you his teachings, and it is up to you to accept or reject them. But I repeat, his is the best way. And he says in his holy Quran, I, Allah, am the best knower. Chapter 2, verse 1. Since he represents himself as the best knower, then it is nothing but intelligence on our part to follow and obey that best knower who gives the best advice and whose guidance is best for our future, regardless of what we desire. He is the best knower of what guidance we should have. There are many disbelievers, infidels, and atheists today, as the Bible teaches. The fool has said in his heart that there is no God. These ignorant sayings and attacks made against truth go for nothing today but condemnation with truth. We do not have the type of God that they were taught of, some spook God and man. But there are supreme men among man, and this supreme one is referred to as God, having infinite wisdom and knowledge over all things. There will be no sickness or disease among us when we learn and obey the law of nature. The law of nature is the divine law the Creator set for us in the beginning of the creation of the universe. This race, white, of people has ignored and disobeyed this law and has met with disaster. They seek and have tried throughout their civilization to change the very natural religion of the black man. But time has proved that the white man was a failure and now has met his unnatural and false teachings and practices with truth and reality of the law of nature and its workings among the created creatures of God. This law is now to defend us against the false guidance and rebelling of this race, white. Let the white man eat all the hog he wants. It was made for him, not for us. It was made for a cure for many of their diseases and is used for salves. If you want to enjoy good health, eat once a day and nothing between meals if you are not sick. There is an allowance made for the sick ones who sometimes are not able to eat enough at one meal to take them over to the next meal, or whose bodies are weak and must be built up for the one meal a day. In this case, they sometimes eat 2 meals a day, but never 3. If you can eat 1 meal every other day, you will enjoy both health and a longer life. Even the men and women who do strenuous mental work can go along with 1 meal a day if they eat the proper food and never want more than that. And that's a big thing. Allow yourself not to want more than that. Fruit is digested better when it is eaten raw. Since being given knowledge by the all-wise one in the person of Master Fard Muhammad on how to eat to live, we should not confuse ourselves by studying the advice of all people, doctors, and quacks of the world on what kind of medicine, vegetables, meats, herbs, and fruits we should eat. I'll repeat that. Since being given knowledge by the all-wise one in the person of Master Fard Muhammad on how to eat to live, we should not confuse ourselves by studying the advice of all the people, doctors, and quacks of the world on what kind of medicine, vegetables, meats, herbs, and fruits we should eat. If we keep getting advice on the above after getting the correct advice, we will never enjoy good health. All will be confusion. As I mentioned earlier, nearly all vegetables are good to eat that have been classified by the scientists who have studied the poisonous that the vegetables contain as well as the non-poisons they contain. We do not need to eat everything just because the Bible in Genesis said that Adam, who represents the white race, could eat nearly all of the herbs of the earth that are not poisonous. Our scientists teach us of that which is poisonous and of that which is not poisonous. If we are travelers and are stranded, we eat whatever we can find edible, to non-poisonous roots and the bark off trees. But this is not good for us if we wish to live a long time, because our stomachs are not made to digest the bark off trees and roots of trees or blades of grass and leaves. Our stomachs were not made to live off raw foods, except certain raw foods such as fruits, which beyond a shadow of a doubt should be eaten raw and never cooked. When we cook our fruit, it takes away the vital property that is necessary for our good health. An apple or peaches or berries is better eaten raw than cooked, unless our health and body are weak and unable to digest the raw apple. There is a great need for knowledge on what to cook and as well as how to cook it. We can live a long, great, and healthy life by just drinking good, wholesome milk and eating good whole wheat bread if the bread is cooked correctly. Some people will eat whole wheat kernel, but this is not good to do because it is the whole of the seed, and our stomachs are not made to digest the raw wheat seeds, regardless of the great property of vitamins in them. The whole wheat kernel should be milled and ground very fine. When you are ready to make bread, add water and yeast to it and set it aside to sour. This will put it in a better digestive state to be cooked properly for your stomach to digest. Cook it slowly after it has risen a couple of times in the mold. This must be done thoroughly so that all of the risen cake or loaf is thoroughly cooked through and through under the heat of the oven. After it is cooked, do not eat it until it has set for a day or two. Even 3 days is not too long to wait for it. It is never stale because of age if kept in the right place. Never eat freshly cooked bread of any kind, as it is difficult for your stomach to digest. The same applies to beans and whatever you eat. Cook them thoroughly. Do not cook them in such a way as to destroy the vitamins or proteins that are in them to strengthen and build your bodies and the tissues of your bodies. Some people pull the brown crust off the bread to eat the unbrowned core. But by doing this, you are throwing away the most digestible part of the bread and accepting the part which is hard to digest. Toast that is browned through and through is much easier on our stomachs than the slice of bread that is not toasted. We can live longer by eating several varieties of food. Never think that you are a great healthy person just because you eat a lot of meat, white bread and cornbread, sweet pastry, or a lot of peas and beans. You are only taking a quick trip to the cemetery. And on that, I'll close for our reading today. I have ended on, that was page 38. In this book, How to Eat to Live, there's so much guidance. My favorite part that I just went over, that I read over again, was about deciding that you have come across, when you get your hands on this material, or your mind is allowed to hear it, and then you then decide that, that sounds good. Sure, you may do your research. You should research everything and you should learn. But when you start to seek knowledge to debunk or to try to find wiggle room in what you've already been guided to do, what do you say? All will be confusion. So, you say you do not need a long list of foods that you can eat. Here are the foods that you should not eat. Now, when they keep coming up with something new, if it wasn't here yesterday, why are you trying to eat it today? I want the food that was here way back when. Fruits and vegetables without any seeds? I think I'll pass. Well, family, I pray that you are able to go on NOI.org and absorb all of the beautiful Saviours Day in what it was and what it is, and gain that knowledge and use it to create wisdom in your mind and to spread it. Oh Allah, I'm so full. I'm so thankful that we were able to have our Saviours Day and it to be as monumental as any one Savior Day that has been in person. Like, it was absolutely amazing. Make sure to check out that panel again on How to Eat to Live. I'm going to put the link in the bio, and I will leave you as I greeted you in the words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Until next time, I love you, family. Peace.